Welcome back to Rock Guitar Confidential with Scott and Ryan. On today's episode, I finally figured out what annoys me about Fred Durst and Blink-182. Find out about it next.
Is that, oh my God, that was some weird stuff going down right there. What's funny is I actually did skateboard all my adolescence and up to probably even when I was living in Los Angeles, going to music school, I used to go skating down the Strand.
Really?
In Los Angeles down in Manhattan Beach.
Did you throw on your Vision streetwear?
No, I was a rocker, dude. So I still dressed. I was like black jeans, black T-shirt, but I would go skate. And I had long hair and stuff. But I was definitely a rock dude, but I skated from the time I was like 12, 13 all the way through even music school. So I actually was a skater, but I'm completely unaware of skater culture.
Yeah, so I remember growing up, I wanted to be a part of skater culture, but I was just not good at athletic things. Yeah. I could play basketball okay, but...
and you still love basketball.
I do still love basketball. Yeah, dude, there's a basketball rim in my backyard. But yeah, so when I was in third grade, I broke my hand.
Oh no!
Twice, right? Once I probably told the story.
Wait, was
on
that
the
a
podcast.
buy one get one kind of thing?
It sort of was. It sort of was. So, the first time I broke my right hand, my third metacarpal.
Wow, look at you!
We used to play this game with my buddy Lee called Bruce Lee.
Okay.
I know I've told this story on the podcast. The only rule of Bruce Lee is that Lee got to kick your ass.
But isn't that second rule where you don't talk about Bruce Lee?
That was the second one, right? Yeah, totally.
There's two rules.
Lee Club, yeah. Not Glee Club, but Lee Club,
right,
yeah.
Exactly.
So I was defending myself against a karate kick with my hand.
Now, was this an actual game, or is he just karate kicking at you randomly and you had to defend yourself?
No, that was kind of just what we did.
Okay.
We all.
Stand still, man. I'm gonna come kick you. That was the game.
All right, so every kid. It was Catholic school, man. It was weird. So every kid.
It doesn't seem like much of a game. Hey, stand right there. I'm gonna come kick you. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, it's called,
let's play that again.
Let's play the game of penance. So, like co-flagellation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every kid in third grade wants to be a ninja.
Okay. Yeah, back to when we were kids. That's ninjas were cool.
Yeah. Well, didn't your kid want to be a ninja in third grade?
Nah.
What?
No, he didn't.
Has he ever wanted to be a ninja?
Never has. Ninjas don't interest him at all.
What the fuck? How'd that happen?
He loves. Well, I'm not a ninja. That's probably part of it. That's.
Well, you might be, and he just doesn't know that.
I'm not though.
That's cool. Well, dude,
and I never mentioned ninja, and I never mentioned ninjing lifestyle to him.
You could tell him you were though. That would
actually,
be awesome.
I remember I tried to have him go watch. What was that Snake Eyes? That movie? I'm like, let's go watch Snake Eyes.
Well, it's like G.I. Joe.
I know, but
ninjas.
it's like he's fighting ninjas in the movie and stuff. I'm like, it's got ninjas. He's like, nah. We won. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. If it's got dinosaurs, he's like all day long.
Okay, what about so if the movie had like dinosaur ninjas?
That'd be awesome. He totally watched that. Or ninjas fighting dinosaurs. That would be another huge thing.
That would be the thing. So Jurassic Park, if they introduced ninjas, he'd be all about
somehow like InGen is making these ninja, like these super advanced ninjas or whatever. They just drop them on the island for whatever reason.
Yeah, that might be a better plot.
I really should stop talking because I'm giving ideas to Universal right now about what
exactly.
the franchise going forward.
We should really copyright these ideas
exactly.
first
These
before.
are too good. Can't give these nuggets of wisdom away for free.
I'm surprised Roger Corman hasn't made the movie about which we're speaking.
Okay, it probably will happen. Yeah.
Well, Corman's dead now.
I know, but eventually his AI ghost will make something like that.
Yes.
That's going to happen.
AI Ghost makes Ninja Dinosaur movie.
Would it be awesome if AI Ghost
movie.
made Ghosts? What the hell was the guy? The guy, Space Ghost. AI Ghost makes Space Ghost. That'd be awesome.
AI Ghost makes Space Ghost.
Remaking the movie Ghost.
Who gets it? Yeah.
Starting an AI Patrick Swayze.
Yes. Soundtrack by the band Ghost.
Exactly. Just pile up as many meta ghosts as you can.
Hell yeah.
The Ghost face makes a cameo.
Right. And then King Diamond could hold a seance and contact
the family
ghost. Yes.
Exactly.
Nice. So anyway,
I don't know. I completely pulled this off the track.
That's okay. Right Ninjas, man. I'm shocked that we need to get your kid. If you spend more time with ninja culture,
he's 15.
I don't think it's too late. I still think
he knows he knows what he is and what he isn't.
Dude, I'm 46, man. I still think ninjas are cool.
I still think ninjas are cool. Yeah, I think ninjas are cool. Ninjas are inherently cool, unless they're trying to kill me, in which case that kind of sucks.
There's an anime on HBO Max that I still need to finish. It's called Ninja Kamui. It's fucking rad.
Is it just like a fighting ninjas?
So
thing?
far it's like, so this undercover, so there's this ninja who's kind of like in hiding, like he's disguised, right? Looks like a blonde haired, blue eyed guy with his family and everything, right?
Okay.
And then like in the first episode, like his family gets brutally murdered.
Yeah, like happens typically.
As happens when you're a ninja.
Yep.
Like, so I guess he was like on the run from some other group of ninjas.
They warned him in ninja school that might happen.
That's right.
Yeah, so
Like odds are good.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like 60%.
pretty good chance that if
yeah.
you meet a nice girl and you have kids, that they're going to get brutally murdered because you're a ninja.
Right, and I think she
that's
was
the critical thing to understand. You're a ninja. You look at your 1040 and you look at the occupation that says ninja. Yeah,
Yes.
that's going to happen.
That's right. Odds are.
Yeah.
You should have like family insurance.
85% chance this is going to happen. You know.
Yeah, you
So,
need to take out life insurance on your wife and your kid
Exactly.
if you're a ninja.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's totally. They probably have ninja rates too. But then again,
Absolutely.
they probably get killed so frequently. It's probably hard to get life insurance.
Well,
Like,
it's expensive.
Yeah, because the insurance company does not want to give away that money to all the murdered families of the
That's
ninjas,
right.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly right. It's really a luxury for high end
Yeah,
ninjas.
it's like the super high. Yeah, exactly.
Right, right. If you're at the
High
bottom
earners.
of the ninja totem pole,
The
then
1%.
Yes, that's
Another,
right.
Another advantage of the 1%. You know.
It's all walks of life,
It's true,
man.
even
all walks
ninjas.
of life. That's right.
Yeah.
Even in the ninja community.
And they're
So-
secretly hated by like the beginner, like starter ninjas who are living like
Right.
you know the regular kind of middle class lifestyle. They damn you, 1% ninja.
That's right. They're constantly having like ineffective protests.
The upside for them though is their job is literally to kill that guy, so that's okay. That's literally it. So
Yeah,
there's an outlet for that rage.
The Occupy Dojo protests just really didn't have the impact that they had hoped.
Yeah, exactly. Laying down and being like still like while ninjas come in with swords is not a good plan because they're going to just kill you all and you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's,
Well, and I mean, when they protest, they're still super silent. Like you can't really tell they're there, so you don't really know that they're
they walk in
protesting.
with their tabi boots and you can't tell. You know.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so I broke my hand doing that.
Okay.
And then I got my cast, and the family was supposed to, go to Disneyland that year, and so I got my cast off like a week before we were supposed to go to Disneyland, and then I was standing on my skateboard and it slipped out from under me, and then I broke my arm on the same side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I broke my forearm and had to have a cast like back on. I was out of a cast for like one day,
Oh man, what sucks?
and then I broke it again.
That sucks. That's just crap luck. But they did go to Disneyland though, right? I mean, sure, broken arm and everything.
Yeah, no, that
but,
was
I mean,
totally cool. But
yeah.
I'm just saying, like after that, my parents took away my skateboard.
Yeah, because they're like, you're going to kill yourself if you keep doing this.
Right. So I might have some like subconscious angst towards skate culture that I wasn't aware of because like I didn't get to participate in it. So I'm just going to throw that out there up front today in case I am too critical of skate culture.
Okay.
It could just be some psychological sour grapes from a kid that wanted to keep skating. I don't know.
I did skate,
Who
but,
knows?
but my natural inclination is to not give a shit about being parts of a groups at all. So I didn't care about like, oh, that guy's like got his hat on backwards and skating. I'm like, I don't care about that. That looks lame to me.
Yeah,
Also, all I ever saw skaters do is hang out in parking lots and try and do tricks badly, and then
Right.
walk around with their skateboard. And I'm like going, okay, I just want to like fly around and in and out of traffic.
Yeah.
I wanted to like go do my own. I didn't care about being a part of their group trying to do like
Yeah, you
60s
weren't trying to do
or
like
whatever.
ollies off of like railings,
which
and
I've never
stuff.
seen one of them ever land in my
You know what
entire
is
life.
hilarious? Many years ago, when my friend Rich was recording the last Cause and Effect album he was playing on, my buddy Ryan and I, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were in a band. This is in the late '90s. We drove down to I think it was Fullerton, where they were recording the album, right? So we drove down to stay with them and another band. We stayed with Cause and Effect and Anything Box.
Okay.
In this, house down in SoCal while they were in the middle of the recording process. It's one of the coolest experiences of my life. It was the same week that Radiohead's OK Computer released.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember like a big party, like that album was like a big deal. Like someone came home from like Tower Records with the CD and like we couldn't wait to put it on and hear what it was like.
Oh, wow.
These are like synth pop bands, right?
Yeah.
So it's a kind of different scene than like the rock and metal scene that, we're usually
I
part of.
was aware that Radiohead existed, but I had zero impulse to listen to anything they ever did.
I just thought it was so cool that there was like a buzz around a piece of music.
Yeah,
and
that
then-
time period especially. Yeah,
Right,
That is
and
really
then
cool.
I think it was Keith Milo, the keyboard player from Cause and Effect, who, by the way, and again, I was like 17 or 18 at the time. He taught me that when you get the quesadilla from Taco Bell, or at that time it was Del Taco, because I don't think quesadillas had released at Taco Bell yet.
What really? In the
Yeah.
90s? I think so. I remember getting Taco Bell quesadillas in like
Really?
2000. Yeah, I remember that could have
Well,
been.
no, this would have been like 97 to 99, something like that.
So
in
they
that
didn't have the
period.
technology to make a quesadilla at Taco Bell at that time.
Well, just for a long time, Taco Bell did not have a quesadilla on the menu. That's like a later in Taco Bell's lifespan.
Now, am I imagining this, by the way,
menu
just
item.
on a sidebar? Did Taco Bell do burgers at some point? Am I
No, but
imagining
Del
that?
Tacos had a reasonable fast food burger for quite some time.
I was trying to think, how weird would that be if they were to have like burgers at Taco Bell? I mean, they sell tacos at
weird.
Jack in the Box, so why can't they sell burgers at Taco Bell? You know,
Yeah, but they sell fucking everything at Jack in the Box.
that's true.
They-
Badly.
they- like including indigestion.
yeah. Perforated bowels.
yeah.
Those are on the menu too.
They sell irritable bowel syndrome at Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box sells regret.
They're mystery meat tacos. You've seen those look meat tacos? I say to my son whenever it comes on, like, what the hell is in that taco? There's no way anyone knows what that is. It's just some kind of Soylent Green.
Oh, dude, I'm sure
Some
like
kinda-
every Jack in the Box taco is made up of 15,000 different cows.
I bet you're right.
Right.
Or maybe it's people. Maybe it's
it
people.
could be people. It could
Exactly,
be.
you know.
never know.
Yeah, totally. So,
But hey, you know what? If it's delicious, whatever. Who cares?
you're okay with cannibalism in certain situations. If I'm hungry enough, cannibalism's on the table. Is what you're saying.
You know, under the right circumstances, like if our plane crashes and one of us, like if our plane crashes and I die, I expect you to like eat my flesh.
You realize I don't even eat animal flesh of any kind.
Okay,
right?
but if it was like eat animal flesh or die, you would eat animal
I
flesh.
would die.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
You would not.
Trust me, I would find another way. There's always another way.
No,
Tree bark
okay.
looks good, you
If
know.
we were in the Andes Mountains, like the
Andes
Spanish,
mints are all over the place there.
Ah, fuck.
Everywhere you look in the Andes is tons of mints. Just go eat those. That's
Just go find a Yeti corpse
Exactly.
and eat that.
Which are just scattered all over the Andes mountains. Everywhere you look is like it's a real problem, actually.
just eat a lot of yellow snow.
Yeah, it's lemon. It's lemon flavored. Yep.
Anyway,
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
No, that's fine. It's okay if we're going to we're getting back to skate culture
Yes.
and rock, right?
Okay, so you feel like you were like burned by skate culture because you're broken bones.
Well, yeah, I'm just throwing that out there that maybe there's something, maybe the child in me like I don't know. So here's part of how it came to mind. Like I've often asked here's where it really came from, like directly. You know, I recently had a friend and a student ask to learn a Limp Bizkit song.
Oh God. So
Well,
sorry, Ryan.
I mean, it only took like
What?
2 minutes tops. I mean,
like 4 chords in the whole song, if that. I mean, that's probably
like,
giving too much credit.
yeah. Well, okay. So they did a cover of "Faith" by George Michael, which is challenging because I love George Michael.
Yeah.
Like his catalog of music, he was a singular talent.
Are you a Wham fan too, or are you only a George Michael fan?
I prefer George Michael's solo career.
Okay.
I'm glad you asked. I mean, Wham is fine, but like George Michael's solo career, I think is when he made like the most moving, meaningful music.
Sure.
If we're talking about music you wouldn't expect me to be into, there it is.
Yeah.
I love George Michael.
Well, he was everywhere
His
back
music
when
is
we were
awesome.
kids. I mean, that George Michael's music was on the radio all the time.
What a great example of like a pop star who was immensely talented.
Great
You know,
singer. Fantastic singer.
Great
I mean,
singer. And I mean, and he he steered the boat on the creative direction of a lot of his music, you know.
Yep.
So I mean, he was just a special artist. Super sorry he's gone.
Yeah,
you know?
super sorry that Limp Bizkit tried to soil his legacy by covering one of the songs too. I mean,
Right,
that's-
totally.
Yeah,
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's like 2 chords.
yeah.
It's not rad.
You know what's
but-
tough though when that happens? Like, at least to kind of go into from a student perspective, like trying to teach a student and get them excited about wanting to be a good guitar player is really difficult when the thing that they're really into is stuff that's like not good guitar playing.
Yeah, that's
like,
definitely.
Like, how do you get them from there to here? It's always a challenge. Like, okay, it's like because if I'm gonna give you a reason to want to really work on your playing, like this isn't gonna be it.
Yeah, it really is. Well,
It's
I
like,
think that folds into the whole like, okay, cool. So did you memorize all 7 scale patterns of the major scale this week? Well, no, but I did go home and tune my guitar weird,
Yeah.
and then try to force myself through this song that I don't have the skills to play yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're like, okay, cool. So that's the week down. Let's go ahead and pick up what we did last week and do it
Yep.
again. You know what I mean?
And we'll
That's
do
what
it
you get-
again.
Yeah, until you get this down, which is not going to happen. But I'm going to keep trying until it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
Yeah, it's like,
that's a difficult aspect.
because you can't give someone passion for something if they don't have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and look, again, I just dropped detuned a guitar and put it in my studio, so like I'll accommodate that. Like I want to validate someone's passion, but I mean,
yeah, that's important. You're right.
But so it's hard. Like if you're playing like I don't know, if you're playing that drop D riff like all with one finger, like how do I show you that? Well, if you learned these scale patterns, then you'd be playing more efficiently, right?
Yeah.
You'd be using 3 of your fingers instead of 1 finger
Yes.
to play all those notes.
Yeah, I always tell people, and efficient motion is what we're caring about guitar playing. Is probably the number one North Star we're shooting for is efficient motion.
Yeah.
Don't move your hand any more, either in picking hand or fretting hand any more than you have to. So using one finger just sliding it around everywhere is super inefficient motion.
Yeah, I try to make like the appeal to laziness. Like, hey, we don't want to work any harder than we have to.
Yeah, that doesn't work. I find it's weird because what it is that using one finger to them feels easier because you don't have to develop the skills of all the other fingers. And we're saying we'll develop the other fingers and your hand doesn't have to move. That's delayed gratification. Like, hey, in like 3 months from now,
this is America.
Your fingers are going to be totally there, and you won't have to move your hand at all. It's gonna be awesome.
This is America, Scott.
Yeah.
We don't do delayed gratification.
Some of us do. Some of us, we resist. We're like stones in the river. We aren't going to be dragged along.
Hey, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm flying the flag.
And I can promise you, I have many students who are just like that, who are like, let's learn this stuff. And
I agree. I also have lots of those.
No, I'm not suggesting you don't. I'm just
right.
But what I would say, look,
everybody.
at the end of the day, I respect you enough to explain to you, like a human, like why I'm asking you to do this and why that's a bad idea and what the downside of that's going to be and why I'm saying don't do that. I'm not going to treat you like you don't know or like I'm some kind of authority you can't question. It's like, well, here's why I would say this is a good way to go.
Oh, absolutely. I've got a policy of I always answer my students' question.
Yeah.
Even if the answer
and
is
explain the reasoning behind, like why are we doing this instead of this?
Sure.
Like why would we do that? What's the point?
And if it's a theory thing where it's not going to make sense, I just explain like, look, much of what I just said it can't make sense right now. But number one, I'm always going to answer your question.
Yeah.
And number two, when we do get to that topic, we can look back on today's conversation and then it's going to help you understand it better when we get there.
And then the next thing I have to present to you is going to be easier for you to take because you've already been through this process before. You know what I mean?
Yep,
I just got to
take it.
Pelts on the wall. Once you have a few pelts on the wall and you've conquered the pentatonic scale and you've conquered scale sequencing and bending and legato technique, when you go to the diatonic scales, you've already been through that before. You understand that process.
So it's like when the Predator has enough spinal columns on the wall.
Yeah.
And like hopefully one of them is like a tiny green spinal column from Baby Yoda.
Okay, it hasn't happened.
I hope so.
It hasn't. No.
Yeah, I mean, look, how long has it been since our podcast?
You were award-winning treatment of the Mandalorian versus the Predator. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Did I tell you that I tried to watch Andor the other day?
Oh, I didn't know. You didn't tell me that. I'm not a fan of Andor, actually. That's one of the few Star Wars shows I don't really dig.
I made it through. I was in the first episode and
season 1 or season 2?
Season 1. I tried to start from the very beginning, and so I saw the part where Cassian Andor murdered those 2 dudes.
Yeah. Oh, that's the first episode.
Which I thought it was cool that he murdered them. That was great, the murder part.
Yeah,
but the way he hemmed and hawed and shit, he shouldn't have listened to it. It should have just been okay, I have the gun. Pop, pop. You're dead. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Fucking Disney had to make him act like he had to struggle with it. That was lame. And then cut to colorful jungle planet and children.
Yeah. Well, then I was murdered and stuff, though. I mean, it's not like.
Well, okay, but the children didn't get murdered fast enough. I had to stop. I was like, great, here's all the children and here's the brightly colored jungle planet. So I had to put it down. And then I watched a little bit more and I saw at least one kid get murdered and I felt a little better about it.
Yeah, I think the thing I don't dig about Andor is that it just feels like it's not Star Wars to me. It feels like it's some other thing. It feels like it's like Blade Runner or something.
Well, so that's what the hook was for me.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing I don't like about it. I want Star Wars to feel like Star Wars. I don't want it to feel like it's almost like someone who's making the guy making it, Tony Gilroy. It's like he's like, here's Star Wars, but I'm really sorry this is Star Wars. Let me try and hide all the Star Warsy stuff as much as I can. And
okay, so let's dig into this. So and I haven't lost the other topic either, by the way.
The skater culture we're coming for you. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. But wait, what are the things you like about Star Wars that he took out of Andor?
There's no Jedi. There's no Force.
Okay, cool.
Morally great characters everywhere.
That's awesome.
Nobody's just trying to do the right thing.
I love that.
Nobody's just pure evil. That's something I don't like. Basically, their treatise was the idea that the Empire really wasn't that bad, and the Rebels really aren't that good. So isn't everybody just terrible? We're all just terrible, different shades of terrible.
Dude, I love that.
I hate it with everything.
And
in my
then
being.
introduce the xenomorph.
Drop 'em in.
Yeah, dude, they need to discover
Being hunted
some-
by the predator, then the predator's xenomorph,
Fuck
and
yes.
the Jedi have to like battle it out and stuff.
Man,
you know?
okay, so you know what? Alien Earth is debuting in August. Like, you got to come over and watch that.
I actually probably will take you up on that because I like aliens.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. Done.
Although you know me, I'm an aliens over alien guy. I'm much more of an action version of that kind of thing. That's more my jam. And I'm much more of a predator guy than I am an aliens guy. So just to throw it out there, everybody listening to this podcast knows this. So
Oh man. Okay. Well, whatever. If you can still enjoy it, we'll make it appointment television.
All right.
We'll watch that TV.
that's
series.
TV I can get behind though.
We'll do dinner. We'll do vegan dinner and Alien Earth.
For the record, I'm not a vegan. I'm a vegetarian.
Man, I'm just trying to. I can't keep up, dude. I'm trying. I'm trying.
That's
over
awesome.
here.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. No, I am more than happy to have cheese or ice cream or yogurt and things like that. That's stuff I still.
Okay, so Missy can't eat cheese.
No.
Yeah, so
That's, oh my God, so terrible. I'm so sad.
I know. So we've got to find something to prepare that has no animal flesh or cheese.
No, so we pretty much have to go vegan, which
Right.
is cool. I'm totally cool. I like vegan food.
So now we're back where I started.
Yeah. But
Okay.
just for the, I mean, just so you know, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm sorry, I'm a vegetarian. I'm not a vegan.
Okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah.
Whatever, it's
Yeah,
all good. You're coming from a carnivore.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, I'm an omnivore.
Yeah.
I eat lots of plants.
I think that's it. For I don't eat anything with a face or a mother. That's kind of my approach to it. Also, I don't want an animal being killed for me to have food.
What if it has a face and doesn't have a
But
body?
I'm very much okay with an animal being inconvenience for me.
What if,
It's like, hey,
Okay, so
I'm
have you
gonna stand in
seen-
this little stall. I'm gonna milk you for milk, and we're gonna make cheese of this. Okay, cool. I'm okay with that. That's
so what if they created like animal flesh like as a culture in a dish that like created like a face? They've done this.
they're
right?
doing that? Yeah.
Yeah. So like, would you eat that?
Probably not. That sounds gross to me. But I
What
am,
if it was really delicious?
I'm actually really a big fan of tofu and anything that's based off of like soy and that kind of thing. I eat that stuff quite a lot.
Yeah, I like
so.
tofu also.
Yeah.
You'll have to give me
Yeah.
some tofu tips.
Heck yeah, dude.
I used to freeze tofu to get it to be like meatier.
Yeah. You know what's funny is you have to screen. I'm not going to go too deep on this, guys. Don't worry. You have to get all the moisture out of it, and then
Yep.
you have to let it sit for a while and dry out. Then you have to fry it and marinate it and fry it. That's the best way to get that kind of meaty texture of your tofu. Make sure it's cubed as well, and there's very little
Yep.
moisture. Yeah.
Nice. I wonder if like the air fryer would be a good way to dehydrate tofu.
Probably not, because it's probably going to partially cook it when you do that, because the air fryer does that kind of, it doesn't go low enough temperature for long enough to actually make that the dehydration. Really, it's more of a almost like a par cooking kind of thing, which is crazy.
Well,
Anyway,
you heard it here first, folks.
Yep. So that's right. Everybody out there who's trying to cube and dehydrate your tofu so that you can then marinate it and fry or just put it in the stir fry. Now you know what you must do.
There we go. Nice. So
right.
we'll do that. So we'll watch some milk-blooded aliens, some milk-blooded androids, and some aliens and xenomorphs. and
You
stuff.
know who else loves milk-blooded aliens and tofu? Tom DeLonge from Blink-182.
Yes, he does.
Who's
He's an
like
alien guy.
one of the
yes.
vanguard people of of the pop punk movement. I guess I don't know. It's
Yeah, so I was thinking to myself, like, man, like, what are all the reasons that, like, why is Fred Durst so fucking annoying?
Now, do you consider Limp Bizkit part of that same like pop punk, like with Blink-182 and Green Day and that kind of thing? Is that
Well, I've been trying to. I mean, maybe.
because ostensibly they present themselves like they're a metal band, like a rap metal band back in the day.
Well, okay, but like in terms of like the image and everything, like Fred Durst is wearing like the Dickie shorts, the fucking wife beater, and then the backwards baseball cap.
I just kind of
right?
thought that was that time period. That's like late '90s. That's just what everyone was wearing back then.
Well, okay, so I think what it is I think it's the permeation of skater culture into rock.
Okay. Now, do you
And-
think that's a proximity thing? Do you think because those guys were like in Los Angeles at that time? Do you think that's something that sort of because I remember
Sure.
the Chili Peppers
Well-
kind of picked up on that a little bit too.
Well, and I also, I also think. I mean, again, I think the record companies like pushed it as,
Oh, yeah,
as a
for sure.
look,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So I still think.
To differentiate themselves from the bands that came before.
Yeah, so when Anthrax is into like skater culture and stuff, like I just believe it because that seems authentic to
Also,
me because of how early it was.
when they did that, it wasn't cool to be
Right.
a metal band and be in the skater culture. I was like, "What are you doing? You guys are a metal band."
That's right, it
Supposed to be
wasn't
in,
cool,
like,
yeah.
Skulls and crossbones and like black leather and stuff. What is this skater?
and they were
shit?
like, "I've got skulls and crossbones, Powell Peralta.
Yeah.
Here you go."
But I mean,
right?
that was like you can tell they're doing that because it wasn't because it was cool. They did it because that was who they were. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That makes sense to me. I thought the same thing when I saw them doing that stuff. You know?
So my friend, Rich made me hip to like so basically like he remembers a time like in the like early mid 80s, I guess. Well, maybe mid late 80s.
So 88, 87-ish.
Yeah, let's call it like mid late 80s when like the first generation of like skaters that got really famous, right?
We're talking about Tony Hawk's of the world.
I think that generation,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yep.
You know, they're getting older.
Yeah,
And,
they're
I
in
mean,
the 60s now. Yeah.
well, now they're in their, but even back then, right?
yeah.
Like the first generation, right? Like Lords of Dogtown, like era skaters.
Okay.
They're already getting too old to be.
At that time, they were getting too old.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
they're already they're getting past their prime, right?
Like what, 28?
Right. Yeah, totally.
yeah,
So
it's
I imagine the window closes pretty quick if you're serious about skateboarding.
Tony Hawk
right?
still skates, dude. He's in like late 50s. You know what I mean? It's not like he's not competitive, but I mean, like he could go out and show you some stuff that would blow your mind. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sure, but not everybody is. Just so like you're a rank and file like skater person, right?
Yeah.
It's like so they think to themselves, well, shit, I'm not physically capable of doing all of this like skater stuff anymore. Okay, let's all form a band.
You think so?
But wait, we never learned how to get good at music, so the only genre that's available to us is punk.
Yeah.
So we'll
Which
form,
is one of the genre where you can be off just objectively terrible and still play.
yeah. So those generations of skaters who kind of like aged out of their prime all formed punk bands.
And because they were cool, because they were skaters, the people kind of got on board with it. Because like,
Right.
oh, those guys are cool.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
They were already cool in their subculture, so
Yeah.
they just folded into. So the band that was recommended to me as an example of that was they're called U.S. Bombs.
I've never heard of them. So
Yeah, neither had I. Unfortunately I listened to them.
oh, okay. Sorry, man. Thanks for listening to the Rock Guitar Confidential podcast with Ryan and Scott. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Now back to the show.
Yeah,
You
it's okay.
How long did you have to recover when you did that? I mean,
It took a day. It took a day or two. Yeah, it's. I mean,
black
yeah.
light therapy, just kind of sitting in a dark room and
Yeah, I mean, like the sudden loss of, well, not sudden, but the loss of Ozzy Osbourne.
coupled with that, it's like a
Right.
1-2
Well, all
punch,
my
yeah.
focus shifted.
Yeah,
So Ozzy did me one last favor.
yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Took
Well, this
my mind
favors
away.
his whole life that we get to enjoy the rest of our lives. which
That's
is great,
right.
so,
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of Ozzy this last week.
I've been really revisiting No Rest for the Wicked.
Yeah, it's such a great album.
I listened to that a lot back in the day. I listened to that all the
Yeah,
time. Like,
dude,
on
even the
loop,
deep
you know?
cuts are great. Like Devil's Daughter
Yeah.
is
Dude,
raw.
Tattoo Dancer.
Yeah,
Killer tune. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Breaking All the Rules is so good.
And so I mean, that whole album's killer. It's killer.
Yeah, wasn't Breaking All the Rules like the sub single, or that was a single?
I think so. I
or-
think it
yeah.
was. I think Crazy Baby was a single, Miracle Man was a single, and I think Breaking All the Rules was a single.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and then I loved Fire in the Sky, the ballad. That's a great tune. And also Hero, the hidden one. If you had the tape, it was like a hidden track. It was like at the end of the thing.
Yeah.
That's a great song too. I thought that whole album was just killer. I loved all of it.
Well, I mean, it's Zach Wilde's coming out party.
Yeah, exactly.
And
he
like
could tell. But what's crazy when I'm listening to it now, how much you can tell it's just Zach. He just sounds like Zach. It's like a shark being born. He's ready to hunt right away.
Absolutely.
It's like
he's ready to
he
go.
sounds like Zach. Everything he does is totally Zach.
Yep,
you know
he's
what I mean?
fully formed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
totally.
Which is so crazy. You know, I mean, now it still sounds like the
Exactly.
same dude. You know what I mean? It's crazy how that works. And Jake, same kind of thing. Like he didn't fuck around right out of the gate. Bark at the moon, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Let's do this. Yep.
Yep. But considering he came after Randy, you had to come up with a powerful statement. You know what I mean? And
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
dude. All the if you just have every great guitar player that if you just had every guitar player that came through Ozzy's band and Whitesnake, you'd have like every great guitar player.
pretty much right. Sans Van Halen, that's about it. You know what I mean? That's
Right. Save Eddie Van Halen, you'd
Yeah.
have every other great guitar player.
Yep, exactly
Yep.
right. So that's the thing about the skater culture. I think that the thing that partially, I mean, I was a skater. I mean, dude, from late 80s, mid 80s to really the early 90s, mid 90s, I was skating consistently. I was like the only one in my friend group that skated at all. So I remember going skating, and then my roommates when I was in music school, they all skated too. So we'd go skating together a little bit down in LA. But I mean, I was unaware of that culture you're describing of, and I was also a guitar player, so I wanted to hear music by people who actually know how to play.
Right.
So I didn't give a shit about punk music because I thought it was bullshit music.
So
it's like,
specifically, I'm referring, and you know what? Maybe it's not.
so I guess that's why I'm ignorant. I'm just explaining why I'm ignorant.
No,
of
that's
it,
okay.
you know?
And maybe
Yeah.
what I find abrasive is that it's not actually skater culture. It's what a record company executive thinks skater culture is,
Or at least can
and
sell to
then-
the people who are mainstream who will buy that's skater culture. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, so that's, the Dickies with the wallet chain and, like the skate tennis shoes, whether they're Vans or whatever.
I actually like Vans. I was kind of sad when they become a like thing that's like only skaters wear Vans or some crap like that. Like, hey,
Vans were great
I
for
like
years,
Vans.
yeah.
Vans are fine.
I mean, I don't know what Vans does now, but yeah.
Same thing they've always done. Yeah.
So Dickie shorts, wallet chain, Vans, or something similar.
Wife beater, hat
right?
backwards,
Wife beater, backwards baseball cap.
Later into the 90s, you went more tattoos and the more piercings you had. That's like the
like the tribal
97,
tattoo.
98, 99. They got more tattooy and more piercingy.
The barbed wire armband.
Well, every freaking dude, every douchebag dude had. Didn't they get like the mall? You go to the mall, there's like a tattoo place in the mall. That's like their specialty, right? Was that look more dangerous at the office?
Shit, that might be a way to actually like save some shopping malls. Just put a tattoo parlor in there. You know,
They're
that
all
might
become
thrive.
office parks, basically indoor office parks is what
Right.
what's going to happen. But
Oh hell, you could just make the shopping mall a skate park with like tattoo parlors and shit. I don't know why. I mean, someone must have thought of that.
yeah,
somewhere.
I think, but probably because the rents are too expensive and there's not going to be enough people who are going to.
And skaters don't have any fucking money.
That's true.
Because they waste all their time skating.
And usually you're a skater because you have like
That's
disaffected
right.
parents who are like working class people who are never home, that kind of thing. So they don't have like the FU money. And then there's like the you know, in like our culture too. Like there's always the rich kid who's got like the PRS and the Mesa Boogie, who barely
And we
can
all
play.
resent that kid,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like, I'm sure there's a skater equivalent to that. He's got like all the nicest stuff. He's like some rich kid. You know what I
That
mean?
makes sense. I've got a buddy at work who skates. We might have to have him on for like a follow up.
Have him tell us how wrong we are.
Yeah, we'll have an actual young person on
Hey!
who skates. Yeah,
Hey.
totally.
But number one, I offended that you're saying that we're old. And second,
good.
I don't like to think about it.
I'll have him listen to our podcast and see if he'd be happy, if he'd be welcome, if he'd enjoy joining us.
Do you
That
think
would
there's
be
any
interesting.
crossover between the pop punk world and like the grunge world, or do you think that was two separate things? Because grunge is probably just like our generation disaffected. Like I'm gonna just drop out, kind of.
I think I think the grunge thing is kind of like its own unique like shitting of the cultural bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're just not going to try anymore. It's cool to be like sad and not really try, that kind of thing, and that's cooler than being awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
like-
I don't know. I mean, I guess that was kind of a cult, like a Seattle culture that got appropriated by like
Record companies, just like the pop punk thing. Yeah.
And so I'll say this. I think that the corporatized version of skater culture that has infected rock music, I think that as a trope has lasted a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean, and now it's gotten to the point where there's nostalgia for that. There's like a lot of those people who were disaffected kids in like 2002 are now like almost 40. Or,
Yeah, do you know what? We had it so good like a decade ago when like the 80s nostalgia was just
hitting,
hitting big time. But
yeah, now we're right in the precipice of the abyss of the 90s nostalgia.
yeah, it's
coming.
tough. It's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah,
it's really rough.
We lived
Like-
through this shit the first time. I don't want to go through that again. You know what I mean?
Well, and I mean, all those people that got fooled into thinking that music was good, like they've got kids now.
Yeah.
And now they're telling their kids
Exactly.
and hopefully those kids just rebel and go get like a Dream Theater album or something.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the kid. I think what it comes down to, and this is something that's just a very human condition kind of thing, is that people don't want to like go opposite of what the crowd's doing, and especially if you're not like passionate. Unless you have like passion and you're like, I'm really into this and this is my thing, and I don't care what anyone thinks. But
Man,
most people,
I love going
most people
against what the
aren't
crowd's
like that.
doing.
Though. I know, but most people aren't that, and I think that's why, like, if your dad's, I mean, that maybe the rebellion against the dad might be the one hope we have, is that they kind of say dad likes this, so I think it's lame or something. But I typically people just kind of go along, and for whatever reason, Nirvana's been kind of lionized as like this great band, like the rival of like Led Zeppelin.
You know,
or
you
Hendrix
know,
and stuff.
some people buy their kid the T-shirt at Kohl's.
Yeah, I get it, but that's a thing. They're not buying a Blind Guardian T-shirt at Kohl's.
Fuck, I wish they were.
You know what I mean? No, that's the thing. I
Or
think-
like the Seventh Angel.
yeah. We'll just pick any other power metal band, from that Sonata Arctica. That's just not happening. But I'll tell you what, though, that tells me a way of like differentiating who's like legit and who isn't. If I walk around and some kid that's got a Blind Guardian T-shirt, I'm like, that freaking kid's awesome. He knows
Yeah.
about Blind Guardian. That's rad. That's like,
Hell yeah.
There's like obscure European power metal band. That's a real dude who really loves music. He's
Yeah,
not doing that because his friend group
absolutely.
tells him this is cool. Doesn't
See,
take
and
any
I
courage
respect
to like
that.
get a Blink-182 shirt. You can like not even know what that is, and people will look at you and think you're cool. If you get a freaking, let's say, I don't know, what's the band I was thinking? Oh my God. Who's the power metal? Oh, Nightwish. If you get like a Nightwish band shirt, that's
that person's dedicated.
You're not
yeah.
doing that because you think your friends are going to think it's cool. You're doing it because you love Nightwish.
That's
You know what
an
I mean?
interesting like
Yeah.
subtopic too, and maybe that's what maybe that's also what kind of like irks me about stuff
Skater
like
culture thing.
well about again like the corporate interpretation of what skater culture because I know it's not like actual skater culture, but again, like Dickie shorts, wallet chain.
Do you think
wife
that
beater,
actual
and
skater culture really still exists, like in any kind of major form?
I know it does. I mean,
Okay.
again, I've got friends, and that's where we have to get my buddy from work to come
So
in and talk
how
about
would you
it.
define that though? Is
And,
it
and
like a
he
lifestyle? Is it
plays death metal, dude. So
Okay.
you know, maybe
which is legit. I mean,
Absolutely.
better than pop punk. I'll tell you that,
dude.
So.
Yeah, he's not
yeah.
he's not wasting his time on Blink 182 music. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's people who love Blink-182. It's so weird to me. I mean,
Yeah, I
I just
don't-
describe that to like it must be a nostalgic, like an attachment to a certain time in your life when you heard this song and it reminds you of this girl that you liked in 7th grade.
You
or
know what?
something.
I will
You know?
say like there's like the finger picking lick in the beginning of What's My Age Again. Like
Yeah.
that's actually cool and it's fun to teach.
Yeah,
and, like
yeah.
I don't hate it. So I'm not gonna fully.
Oh, I
rip-
taught that back in the late 90s too.
yeah, and you know that's fine. If you, it's a great way to teach someone how to do some finger style, you know, who wouldn't otherwise engage in that technique. So I don't want to make it sound like I actively dislike Blink 182. Like the way I feel about Blink 182 is not the way I feel about Nirvana or Pearl Jam.
I feel actively indifferent to Blink-182.
Yeah.
That's kind of I don't. You can do worse than Blink-182, but
Yeah,
they're
totally.
not. But they're also not good either.
Well, so okay, so that's the thing is
Yeah.
that like I just don't understand. I don't know how. For anyone, I know there's someone out there for whom Blink 182 is their favorite band.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of them actually.
Okay, I just like who is that person and why? I don't understand how.
Yeah, I mean,
how? Why?
They're clearly not going there for the guitar. That's clearly not the guitar that's driving. I mean, maybe you like guitar music, but you're not going to Blink-182 because of the amazing guitar playing or the amazing
Music.
unique songcraft or anything like that. You're going
Or the
there.
music.
It's really the aesthetic of the band that they like. It's like what it makes them feel like and what they think it says about them to other people. Is
Yeah.
what they like about that band.
Right, and
same
so
thing with
what's
Green
the-
Day, same kind of thing. You know.
Yes, this is the whole like Post Malone's just a reflection to like a mediocre society.
Yeah, but maybe. But
Yeah.
why was it not mediocre when we were kids? Everything was fucking awesome when we were kids. Even the pop music was awesome when we were
Well,
kids.
it's because
Yeah.
you could still make. Well, I think it was a confluence of like time and technology and culture, right? So,
So you were saying that we had more time when we were kids?
well, no, I just mean like so. Number one, because of technology, right? You still had to buy cassette tapes or CDs or records.
Oh yeah, you
right?
mean like you had to physically support the record industry?
Yeah, you had to physically. Yeah, so
Which then makes the budgets of the labels higher,
Right.
and it means there's producers you can hire and stuff. And
Yep. So there was that, and then the country was like between 15 and 20 years removed from the civil rights movement of the 60s.
Yeah.
And so so certain like cultural barriers were being broken down, which was, fostering more collaboration.
Yeah.
More genre bending and stuff,
But
right?
it was expected that you were great if you had made a record back in those days.
Yeah, well,
there's
and
not,
then-
there's not a lot of mediocre going on with that, at least in
Sure.
the world that we live. Even pop, you listen to like a Duran Duran album,
Yep.
or you listen to like In Excess, you
Well-
listen to even like a Lionel Richie album, or freaking Michael Jackson or Prince. Like there's great musicianship on every one of those
Well,
things. and
yeah,
great
I mean,
songcraft.
so Simon Le Bon and Andy Taylor, like all those guys grew up like they didn't grow up with smartphones.
Yeah, well, I grew up playing music. That was
So you played music.
yeah.
You didn't have a smartphone
And you
or
didn't
the
have
internet.
Pro Tools to time correct your stuff. You had to actually learn to really play.
Yeah, like you couldn't
Yeah.
wait. You couldn't waste a whole day like scrolling on the internet. And video games were fun, but they kind of sucked.
Yeah, well, they were not something that you spend your entire day doing. It's not going to play Pong for a whole day.
Right, well, I mean, like even Nintendo, right? Like Nintendo, like I grew up with a Nintendo Entertainment System, and it was fun. But I mean, it was a crapshoot as to whether the game was going to be any good or whether it was.
Well,
gonna be
like
garbage.
Mario Brothers was good. There's there's a handful of ones that were good.
Yeah, but then every now and then you go to Toys R Us. Like every now and then, my dad would take me to Toys R Us, and like every now and then he would let me pick one game.
Okay,
And then, like, dude, then the pressure's on,
like this game better be awesome,
right?
It sucks,
Because
yeah.
even in that money back then, like every game was like $40,
Yeah.
which was a lot of fucking money, right?
Yeah.
And like all you had to go on was the cover art.
yeah. It was
And,
like an album in a way. It's like buying a
Yeah,
record.
totally. And like every now and then, like you'd get a meatloaf, right?
Meatloaf of shit.
Yeah. A shitloaf, if you will. But yeah, it would be like buying every now and then. It would be like the video game equivalent of buying
Out of hell.
Bat Out of Hell, right? Yeah, the cover looks fucking awesome, but I would do what? Fuck this. This sounds like a Broadway musical. What the fuck?
Yeah, you know what, dude? It's so funny. At that time period, I don't know. I remember music being as important, or maybe more important than anything else culturally. That was like, it was a new record coming out from a big band like Metallica or Guns N' Roses or Van Halen or AC/DC. Any band put out a big record, it was a big deal. It was like a movie coming out or something.
And when a young person was wasting their time, well, I mean, this is obviously Duran Duran would have been on MTV, so not the members of, so all the bands that were hitting on MTV, they grew up in like the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And that's when they honed their craft, right? When there was also a lot of great music out there, right?
Really from the 50s all the way to like the early 90s, it was like great music. It was like the norm.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so
it was the expectation.
I keep thinking like, okay, well, why did everything start sucking ass in the mid 90s? You know what I mean?
Because of money.
Well, I mean, I think what happened is the labels were fully corporations at that point, or parts of corporations, like pieces of corporations, and they just turned it into like a Coke or Pepsi thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna just commoditize this like anti-establishment sentiment that the grunge thing has. Oh, these people like the pop punk thing. Okay, we're gonna find some bands that look just like this, and bring in the producer, make the same thing again.
It's just the baby boomers selling out.
Yeah, well, it's really our generation is the ones responsible for that. The Gen Xers, man, we're the ones who bought into the grunge and pop punk.
Well, right, but the ones that fed it to us were the boomers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The boomers fed us the garbage, right? Yeah. Well, especially because they wanted to return to like. This may seem a little contradictory, but they also like resented all the excellence of music in the 80s and wanted it to get back.
Which is weird. The 60s music that they grew up on was awesome, though. I mean, like there's Hendrix and freaking King Crimson and Black Sabbath and Zeppelin and
it was.
Cream
But like if your favorite band is Creedence Clearwater Revival, if your
which is good in its own way, by the way.
If your favorite artist is Don Fogerty, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today, right? If that's your favorite fucking song, then like you hate Van Halen.
Why?
It's or you like hate Paul Gilbert and Yngwie.
I'll tell you, I like CCR and I like Van Halen. Van Halen's my favorite band.
I like CCR just fine, but I mean,
like, can't you like both? I don't know if it makes any sense to me.
I think there's like a cultural relevance thing. If the relevant, like, I don't know. I think there's a resentment towards the virtuosic guitar player.
No, they're definitely. I remember that happening
from that type of like listener and fan.
Huh. Yeah, I don't understand how you can not like someone being amazing in what they do. It's almost like hating Shohei Ohtani for hitting home runs. It's like, man, he hits all these home runs. This sucks.
Because
like,
I'll tell you why. Because it makes you feel old.
I guess. You know what makes me feel is like how shitty everything is. So like, why does everything suck ass and has for 20 years now?
I mean, dude, we're going through it right now.
I'm happy with the music that I love, and there's still great music being done out there, and we're making it too, you and me.
I mean, and that's true. Yes, Ex Aegis. Everybody go to the website, listen to our album.
Yep,
that's right.
We'll get the spelling later.
Yep, we'll do that again later. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But the point I'm trying to make though is there's still great music happening out there. It's just that the mainstream just ignores it. You know, it kind of. I'm not trying to stand like Joe Rogan, like, oh, mainstream's like a conspiracy or something. It's just It's just there's great stuff and there's terrible stuff. It feels like the worst stuff rises to the top, though.
It's technology and economics, you know.
I think it's just also lazy and disengaged music fans who don't give a shit. You know, that's a big part of it too. Yep. But I think the pop punk thing, I kind of in a weird way don't hate everything about it because it is still at least somewhat anti-establishment. You know, but even though it's like, I mean, Billy Joe mass marketed anti-establishment, but I mean,
Billy Joe isn't afraid to speak out. Like, I mean, American Idiot's a classic,
and the music has got some good points. That he's actually you know, as far as the American Idiot album, that's actually a really great album,
and it's still relevant, more relevant than ever.
It's getting more relevant-er.
It's getting more relevant-er.
I reckon. As I was eating my corn trucks the other day.
Yeah, this episode brought to you by Corn Trucks.
Good. It's good. They got some minerals and such.
Absolutely. If you got a nice mouth, then you need a mouthful of Corn Trucks.
Well, I reckon that's true. Yep. But so it gets more relevant-er as the time goes on.
Relevant-er.
Yeah. So. I don't know, but here's the thing, though. Music, as I've said probably on this podcast a bunch of times, is going in all directions at the same time. So there's great and terrible stuff happening all the time. I think the one upside to music not really having any kind of real cultural currency like it once did anymore is that you can kind of be into whatever you're into, and it doesn't really affect everybody else because there's not any one dominant thing anymore. You know what I mean?
No, totally. And we've talked about that a million times. You know, so I guess for me then to kind of bring it a little full circle, it finally dawned on me the reason I find like the thing that I find abrasive in like Fred Durst's image, or like,
I mean, other than the obvious,
right. Like, I don't know why it didn't hit me earlier. Like, you know, like what's the like what is the like visual message of like a band like Blink-182, all this pop punk stuff. And then it finally dawned on me. It's like, oh, fuck, it's skate culture.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I guess there really is something to that, right? So old skaters like got to where they couldn't skate anymore and then decided, oh, we'll just like start punk bands.
Yeah. Do you
And
think that
now I feel like I get it. And then, then an A&R guy from a record label shows up when there still were those things.
Yeah.
And that's probably how we got
how do we mass
Blink-182.
produce this and make this? Like
How do we mass produce it?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. And commoditize it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true. I mean,
So there you go.
it's tough. And that, what's funny is that this is not, it's easy to kind of just point the finger at the evil corporation, which is true, and they are evil, and you should have fingers pointed at them. But a lot of the bands who were trying to make it, quote unquote, make it, end up getting kind of swept into that too, because they know that, okay, this is what their labels want. Maybe they have a showcase and they get some feedback from an A&R person. They say, this, we need this, this, and this, and they start changing themselves.
Yep.
Rather than just being authentic to who they are, they start trying to conform to what they think the label wants.
Right. They started off just wearing like jeans and t-shirts, but then they had to go buy Dickie shorts.
Yep. And same thing happened with
And
the big
chain
old
wallets.
crazy spiky hair and like the piercings, like like the Blink-182 Korn, not Limp Bizkit Korn. What was that other band?
I'll say here's a band that did kind of like
Static X, that kind of thing. Those kind of bands.
Here's a band that did like the opposite. Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
Like their first album was fucking awesome. It was very punky, but like it was well produced.
They actually remind me of like a proto Maroon 5 or something, like a first generation like prototype.
Okay, but the reason they remind you of that is that you haven't heard their first album.
No, I mean what I've heard of Sugar Ray, that's always, it strikes me as that.
Well, we did that like every morning, something boring. This is stupid shit.
Yeah,
it needs to go away. That song, that stupid fucking song that I never need to hear again.
Yeah.
And then they made another one that sounded just like that. Okay, that is 180 degrees away from what their debut album, Brownies and Lemonade.
Yeah, but here's the
sounds
thing:
like,
how many people know that as a classic Sugar Ray album? Other than the super hardcore fans. I mean,
so my point was they started off like way punky and stuff, but then they turned into like weird ballad bands.
Pop,
so they went they went the opposite direction.
Well, that wasn't an accident. I'm sure the label's like, okay, we got the sales for the first album and they weren't what we were hoping. So if you guys want to get a second album, we need to do this. And here's the producer's going to help you make it happen.
Whatever it takes to make Mark McGrath famous. He's a handsome guy.
Yeah.
So let's get
he
him
ended
an
up going to
audience.
TV and stuff, so it makes sense. He became like an actor / host / singer in a
he
band,
sort of pulled like a latter day Bret Michaels.
Yeah, exactly. But, it's surprising. I would have thought Bret Michaels would have become like a TV host kind of guy, but apparently it happened.
No, I can see it.
That doesn't diminish my love of Poison anymore. I still dig Poison.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I mean,
yeah.
he designed his career to be a larger than life celebrity.
Yeah.
So like, reality television just
natural.
Kind of, he's a natural.
Same with like Gene Simmons. Same with Ozzy.
Right.
That's all.
And same with Mark McGrath.
Yeah, all the guys who have had that.
That's what his career is. It's not. It's not being a musician. It's being like a media personality.
Absolutely right. You don't see the Tony Iommi a reality show.
No, not at all.
Or like the Chuck Schley show. That'd be actually pretty cool.
Well, there's an unfortunate reason.
No, I know, but that would have been cool though. It actually would have been compelling.
Oh, it would have been
that would have been really cool. But I don't know.
Like, I mean, the whole battle with brain cancer thing would have been kind of a downer.
No. I mean, if you could have done that, like, say he hadn't gotten brain cancer and they kept doing what he was doing.
There's a documentary all about Chuck Schuldiner and the band Death on Amazon.
Yeah, I know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched some of it. I need to finish it.
I'm like a Family Jewels style thing, but it'd be almost like a
Chuck Schuldiner Family Jewels.
It's almost like a real life Metalocalypse or something. I imagine
that would be fucking awesome.
That's probably what it would have been. You know what I mean?
If only, man.
Yeah,
if only we lived in the dimension that had real life Metalocalypse.
That would have been awesome. I was trying to explain this to us one other day, one of my students' parents, about Metalocalypse. Like, I haven't heard of the conceit of the show is like, imagine there's like this extreme death metal band, but they're like as big or bigger than the Beatles at the height of their powers. And that kind of thing. And the whole world is like enamored of this band and stuff like that. And that's the conceit of the show. And then they're trying to get their head around it. It's like, what? Because a lot of these people, like mainstream people, don't even know what death metal is. They think Ozzy Osbourne's death metal. You know what I mean?
Well, and they also can't handle absurdist humor. Which is what Metalocalypse is.
For sure. And kind of gross out humor to a degree in some spots, and political satire and cultural satire.
Dr. Roxo loves you, baby. Yeah.
Roxo the clown.
Dr. Roxo loves you.
I love that one too when the two guitar players are fighting because Toki and
Squire.
They're like that, how irrelevant Toki was. It's like so great.
The rhythm guitar players
exactly.
relevant, yeah.
I'm gonna see my own band. I think it's like like I just think that's so perfect.
Or
Exactly.
it's the bass player Murderface. He's
Yeah, yeah.
always talking about his side project, Planet Pig.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that one thing, like years ago, something grew inside your mother. That something was you. It's like,
Oh man,
I know.
yeah, Metalocalypse is the best. I miss Metalocalypse. He needs to come back.
I think in a way that's a little too inside baseball metal culture for your average person to get. That was kind of almost.
It was on Cartoon Network,
No,
so
I know.
if you're
Adult
watching
Swim,
Adult
yeah,
Swim, I
yeah.
mean, that was like every young person for however
I know,
long.
but I think for like mainstream people to like really get that, it was just a little too inside baseball for them. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so if you were in college during those years, then
Yeah.
you would have watched it.
out of love of metal or music or
Yeah, that as
Yeah.
well. So it would
Yeah.
have overlapped, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I can see if you were just a general like
a lot of those jokes are really aimed at like the metal fans, though, dude. I mean, that's
totally,
you know,
but it's absurdist enough to where if you're just in your college dorm at that time in history, you would watch it.
yeah. This is probably what like mid 2000s. I want to say.
Yeah, like 2010s.
Yeah.
2010s.
Yeah, that's the heyday of Metalocalypse.
Dude, I miss so if anybody's interest is piqued about like absurdist animation, everybody needs to check out China, Illinois.
I've not heard of this. But tell us, regale us. What is that?
Dude, it's about like it's like the worst college in America.
Okay.
The Professor brothers work there. One of which is like a total womanizer, and the other one's just like a total like ne'er do well, like nerd, like you know,
Like nothing
yeah.
ever works out for him, kind of.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly right. Yeah, so it's pretty hilarious, man. There's a character named Baby Cakes that's been at the college for like 15 years. Like, he never graduates. Actually, there's a character named Pony, and she's played by Sacramento local Greta Gerwig.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Greta Gerwig does the voice. Yeah, and then after that, they followed it up with there was one season of a show called Brad Neely's Hargnallen Scolio PPO.
Okay, it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, dude, it means nothing is gibberish.
Okay.
It's like, okay, just everybody go to YouTube and search up the band Fruit Blood.
Okay.
It's the best absurdist humor. It's so fucking good.
There's so much incisiveness though in that kind of humor that it's so like it kind of cuts to the bone in a way that it's like hard to do another way. You know, you're not going to see any. It's very very funny. I'm a huge fan of absurdist humor myself.
It's like the opposite of like of the safe, gentle comedy of Seinfeld.
Yeah, or like I would say the kind of harsh, kind of like the Colin Quinn sort of, yeah, you guys a bunch of clowns. That kind of that like that kind
It's
of
not
East Coast
insult humor.
abrasiveness.
Yeah,
it's not that.
definitely. You would.
You have to have some knowledge. You have to know things to get the absurdist humor. You know what I mean?
And you have to. I think you have to have at least at some point in your life tripped balls.
Okay. Okay, why is it then I, who have never done that, I totally love absurdist humor then?
We'd have to watch Brad Neely's Hargnallen Scolio PPO
Okay.
and like gauge your reaction,
That's funny.
and then we'll see how much, and we'll see if you love it as much as I do.
Well, I think I kind of come from a different sort of world. I'm a huge fan of a guy named John Hodgman. I'm not sure if you know who that is.
I don't. I'd like to find out.
He's got a podcast, and he actually was on NPR for a while. He had a little, was it like Wait, Don't Tell Me? He's one of
Oh
those-
yeah, that guy. Yeah, I love
and
Wait, Don't Tell
he's
Me.
an author too, and he's got a bunch of books, and his books are just such a joy to read. Like here's the More Information Than You Require is one of them, and there's this other one like here's the More Information You Requested book. He's just basically, it's a book of all him just making up fake bullshit facts about stuff. Talks about the hobo wars of the 1960s.
Oh, nice.
He just like goes on these like flights of fantasy, and it's just so crazy and stuff.
That's
It's
pretty
like-
awesome.
and I love it. Everything about it is just nonsense, like in everything. There's not a thing about it that isn't just complete nonsense, but he does it with like an earnestness. And so like if you didn't know it was complete nonsense, you get taken in, you think, oh wow, I didn't hear about this. And there's something that just tickles me about that. Like this complete, like nothing is like in any way meant to be serious, or I dig it. It's just absurd and ridiculous.
I love it, dude. I want to learn all about the hobo wars.
Oh my god! There's like literally he'll go through and like in the book there'll be these things with like what happened during the hobo wars in this time period.
Dude, I think you know what that could actually be instructive, because I think that like I think we could have the hobo war start right here in Carmichael.
You think so?
I think so. Since I've
This is ground zero for hobo wars.
I've
Hobo wars.
I've grown close to the unhoused community here in Carmichael since I've been walking for my health. So
Walking,
yes,
I get you.
indeed. Yeah.
Honestly, there's almost no place you can go especially California, but truly in the country, like where you're not going to run across, different pockets of the homeless community.
It's too bad. We could totally take just like a fraction of the budget and like put up like FEMA tents.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about doing like these like tiny house villages and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and then doing everything they can to get services. Hey, let's get you clothes. Let's get you into job training. Let's
Get you a post office box so
Yeah.
you can receive mail so you can get a job. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
And I think that's just such an obvious thing. Or you could just build more prisons.
It's just
I guess,
right.
Yeah.
Well, in prisons, for-profit prisons.
Yeah, which is a horrible thing that shouldn't exist.
I wholeheartedly agree, dude. That's like the check cashing like center of like real estate.
Well, it's pretty gross that's the humans. It's up there with like debtors' prisons back in the back in the day. It's just
super
really
gross,
stupid.
Yeah.
I'd like to think we're more involved in that, but apparently we are.
But we're not.
Yeah. But
We're just man, that turned into a bummer real fast.
well, I mean, it's pretty bumming talking about like the pop punk thing too. That does bum me out.
No, that is true, man. And
the
I wonder.
celebration of mediocrity in all its forms.
Yes, and I want like every time I'm on my morning walk and I have to like step over somebody on the sidewalk, I think to myself, I wonder if they were in a pop punk band.
Probably. Well, it's funny. I've said for many years, there's really a fine line between rock star and homeless person.
Dude, that's the truth.
It's so true. You know what I mean? And
so true.
Sometimes they're one and the same. Like you're not on the road or not in the van. Like where would you live? I don't know. And crash my old lady's house.
Yeah.
That's not a fake thing. That's a real thing.
You're right. You know what they call a guitar player without a girlfriend?
Homeless.
That's right.
Exactly right.
Lord knows I would have ended up that way.
I mean, that's not.
Thanks. All props to Misty.
That's
Everybody.
not uncommon, man. That's not uncommon at all. You know what I mean? I remember hearing about that. The drummer for Great White. I remember talking to. I think it was one of the guys who's a booking agent at one of the clubs. We were thinking about getting a show with him. And he's like, well, blah 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 blah. His old lady kicked him out, and now he's staying with. I'm like, wait, he didn't have what? I thought the drummer in Great White's like a homeless dude. I was like,
that's too bad.
That's what the hell, dude. I mean, he's on MTV like my whole childhood. He didn't save any of his money. Then he was a drummer.
He must have got dumped by Lady Red Light.
Exactly. Well, he didn't rock her that night. You know?
No,
what I
he
mean?
didn't.
He didn't have the things to make it all right.
Poor Mr. Bone.
It's true. Well,
he got bones.
He got bones. Exactly right. That's okay. You can save his love for another day.
That's right.
Because he was mistreated.
And you know what? Hey, maybe he missed out on the station fire. So maybe it saved his life.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's still playing with Great White now, whatever iteration of that is.
Well, it doesn't include Jack Russell.
No, it doesn't.
Unfortunately.
Mark, it's got Mark Kendall though.
Okay, just everyone be careful. Just don't go to markkendall.com.
All right, for the record, I am a fan of Mark Kendall's guitar playing. I think he's actually a good player. I actually dig his riffs and his solos quite a lot. So I think
the one song of theirs that I never need to hear again.
Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
Yeah, that song I never need to hear again.
I agree. I thought it was cool when it came out, and I thought
it's not their best song at all.
Not by all. I think Mr. Bone is a much better one off that album.
Mr. Bone was way better. Lady Red Light's way better.
I think House of Broken Love is freaking incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a great tune. I mean, that's awesome.
But it's always the crappiest song that gets the most play. Right?
It's just very like Ian Hunter, sort of like rock and roll, kind of thing. It's got that. And that's not by accident.
I'd rather have my song be an Ian Faith song.
Speaking of which, coming out soon.
Yeah, September 12th.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Spinal Tap 2. The end continues.
I saw the trailer the other day and got me all psyched. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah!
All right, we gotta go.
He's in the pub band. He's at the pub band. And he's got the guys with the mandolins, and he has his telly.
I haven't seen it yet. I gotta check it out.
So
I'm aware
cool.
of it though. Yeah.
And he starts at the cheese shop and stuff like that. It's so great. And you haven't seen it? Okay, I'm not going to spoil that. The very end of the trailer is pretty great. Some of the stuff they're talking about, very like real, actually almost too timely considering what just happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy.
God damn it.
All right, so I think let's wrap up our thoughts on pop punk culture and then the skater influence on that.
Yeah, so I'm glad I just finally realized what really annoys me about pop punk, and it's the infusion of like diluted faux skater culture.
Yeah,
so
kind of
like
corporatized, mass marketed.
Yeah, so I feel like I can like make more sense of the world that I live in now. So that was just what I wanted to share. Like,
I try and find, yeah, I get you totally. I try and find like. Because I'm aware that not everyone's like me, so they don't take their music that seriously. So I have a person I'm talking to who's a fan of Blink-182 or Green Day or whatever. I just go, okay, there's a person who probably doesn't look that deeply. They probably they've heard it. It's got a pleasant beat, which I can never hear anyone say it's got a great beat.
It's got a great beat. I went home and made beats.
Yeah, it's so terrible. But it's got a nice little hook, and I can remember the lyrics. That's basically all they care about. That's all they want.
Oh yeah, the whole lyric thing. I often forget that. The lyrics not really mattering to me is not,
I want to hear awesome music.
It's not common. For most people, the lyrics are the most important.
And also, I'm waiting for something cool to happen musically in the song at some point. For me to like really get on board with a band, that something cool musically has to happen at some point.
Which is not the lyrics.
It can still have cool hooks and pop hooks and melodies and stuff like that. I want that, but I want something interesting musically to happen at some point in the song. And if it doesn't, I'm kind of that sucks.
Then it's not. Then I'm uninterested.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
nothing interesting happens,
and I don't care about the lyrics lyrics either. It's like I don't
Nope.
care what they're singing about. It doesn't matter to me.
As long as the
anyway.
word hamster is not involved.
As I found out. Oh my
Yes,
God.
as you found out
I
the
didn't know
hard
that
way.
that was verboten. I found out the hard way. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for listening to the Rock Guitar Confidential podcast with Brian and Scott. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Also, to check out what's going on with us, please visit our band website at xagesband.com.
That's www.exagesband.com.
All right, yeah, that was right. All right, and then please, we have links to our social media. Please make sure to follow us on social media on that one. Also, please check out my solo album, Maximum Threshold, with Scott Allen Project, any place you get digital music. And, of course, check out our debut album, X Ages, the self-titled debut album, any place you get digital music. Any last-minute thoughts there, Ryan?
And contact us for guitar lessons.
That's right. We teach guitar lessons both online and in person in the Sacramento region and online anywhere.
Yep, online anywhere, and also at Skips Music.
Yep, exactly right.
So go to Skips Music and buy a guitar and take some lessons.
That's right, and then make your life better. And
That's right.
And put the skateboard down, pick up the guitar. It's a good choice.
That's right. So much the guitar is a better piece of wood.
Yep, exactly. Yep, right. Thank you. See you guys next time.
Peace.
Yep.